as it's the 50th episode, I thought I'd kick it off with a bang.
Okay.
You know, not a story I really usually tell people because it's quite fucking obscene is a word.
Hit me.
But anyway, you obviously stayed around your grandparents when you were little. No, yeah.
My grandparents from Scotland, so like, yeah, I'd stay around if I sort of like.
Or like an older relative, maybe.
Yeah.
Well, I used to stay around my grannies quite a lot. Sometimes it'd be like a fucking punishment. Like, right, behave or you're going to your grannies. And, so anyway, but sometimes I'd enjoy staying around my grannies. So like it'd be like, oh, grannies, yeah, I'll get some food and watch fucking Michael Barrymore.
That's pretty good though. I like that.
That's what I'm saying. Saturday, if we got it on a Saturday, it'd be good. Fridays, it's like,
Gladiators was on Saturday, wasn't it?
Gladiator. Yeah, I fucking love Gladiator. Man, we went to see Gladiators live. Anyway, before we go off on fucking 8 different tangents, staying at my granny's this one particular night, right? Don't remember what we were watching or what we had for food. I just remember this moment. It's scarred into my fucking brain. We were, well, she went upstairs for a shower or a bath, maybe. I think she only had a bath at this time. And I'm like, Granddad, I need toilet in that. She's like, oh, just go upstairs, son, and use the toilet then. So I go upstairs and that, and obviously I walk into the wrong. I don't walk into the toilet bit, I walk into the bath bit, and my granny's there standing, like, her back's to me, right? And she's standing there drying herself off, like
proper flossing.
Oh, no, she wasn't flossing, she was just like, I think she must have been doing the baps. And, but like her legs were open, kind of ajar. And, and like, her pubes were like Marge Simpson's hair, like long.
Fucking
really, it was like Radagast the Brown was licking her out.
Fucking growler.
Mate, and I was
fucking beaver.
Scarred for fucking mate. I still like.
You developed a bit of a complex, you reckon, because of that? Has that influenced you in adulthood in any way, negatively?
Nah, just thought it was time to tell the story on the podcast, you know.
I won't say who, but I had a similar situation.
Similar bush.
The door was ajar and I was like, whoa, titty.
Oh, you seen titties?
Oh man, it's rough, especially when it's family. No one close to me. I'm talking. They shall
Daniel!
They shall remain anonymous.
It's just a floppy.
It's one of those things that happen when you're like a little kid. You're like, oh fuck, one room. They don't know it, but you do.
Is this what porn's like?
Oh mate, it does sky, it does, especially when you're that young age.
You ever found
walking into the wrong room?
Found like it.
Someone walks in on the room when someone walks in on you.
Oh, me and my bro used to fucking see each other naked all the time. Oh, Dean, God, put your boner away. No, anyway. He's walked on me banging, getting head. I walked on him fucking banging. Just, yeah, brothers in it. Anyway. Oh, fuck, I forgot what I was going to say. I had a good one. Motherfucker.
We've been going town so much that we're just starting to see the same things. Like, don't get me wrong, I enjoy it. The weather's been nice. And there's some good places to check out. But, you know, it's a nice town to go fucking gallivanting around. And but you just start seeing the same people, and it's like in my head, because I'm convinced about things being a simulation, I'm like, they're an NPC. An NPC means non-player character, or like think of it as like an extra in a movie. They're just a cardboard cutout, and it's like we see the way these people behave, and it's like, is that just their purpose? They walk down that street,
just conveniently at the same time you're out. It's weird, isn't it? Like you see the same person. If, like, say you've got a routine, you go somewhere on this particular day, but you always see the same guy. He's always like walking behind you at the exact same time. Even if you're like, oh, I'll leave in an hour today, so I know I'm not going to see this motherfucker. You leave an hour later, and you leave your door, and he's still fucking behind you, walking to town. You're like, the fuck's like Trigger Happy TV, or like the big gay following.
It's like the Truman Show. You seen that film?
Yeah.
It was written by I want to say his name was Andrew Nicoli. Nicoli, I don't know how to say his name, but he's done some fucking great films, and he wrote the script to Truman Show, and that's Jim Carrey's more serious role, and it's a great film because the idea that his whole life is a reality TV show, he's being watched, and since that film came out, oh, Mike's well fucking wobbly. Since that film's come out, there's been like a mental disorder, an actual real
Like Truman something.
Something that's related to the Truman Show. People think that their life's a reality TV, a reality TV show, and it's related to the Truman Show.
So when you go off the deep end, isn't it?
Yeah. And it's just a good film. I highly recommend it because he's good in it. He adds a bit of level of charm to it. It's like, I love it when comedic actors do well in dramas. Jim Carrey being an example, Robin Williams being another. I know I mentioned it in past, but like films like Good Will Hunting. Here's a funny little bit of trivia for you about Good Will Hunting. So the scene where Matt Damon's listening to the story of Robin Williams talking about his wife, his deceased wife, and he says, "Oh yeah, she'd fart in her sleep. She'd wake the dog up." It's like, "Was that you?" I was like, "No, it was a dog." No, he goes, "Was that you?" He goes, "Oh no, it's a dog. You didn't have the heart to tell her." What like that? He goes, "Oh, she woke the dog up." And Matt Damon just starts fucking hysterically laughing. That's him genuinely laughing.
In that scene, yeah.
And you can see the camera shaking because even the cameraman's laughing. The same thing happened in Fight Club, the scene where they're assigned to go out and start a fight and lose that fight.
Yeah.
To bring in more members to their cause. And this one guy's working as a mechanic, he's just spraying the patio, and he just fucking sprays some Vicar. He's like, "Excuse me, pardon me, I think you squirted me with your water." The fucking camera's shaking because the guy's just laughing so hard. The camera operator.
I love shit like that when they keep bits in from. Supposed to be cut.
What's that Dustin Hoffman movie called? When the taxi cab comes up on him and he slaps it and he goes, "Hey, I'm walking here." That was
Graduate.
Maybe, I don't know the film.
I'm just going. While since I've seen it, mate.
But that was real. That was a real taxi driver. Because back in those days, man, people just fucking
drove like twats.
Not even just that. Like people would film without permission, without permits. All of Terminator 1 was filmed without permits because it was low budget as fuck. I think it was something like $10 million.
That's well cheap.
And then the second
Mate,
film,
if we had $10 million, we'd make a kick-ass film.
Terminator 2 cost like $100 million.
Yeah, but you can see the difference. It's like the difference between Clerks 1 and Clerks 2. One's in black and white because he had like fucking 10k.
Yeah.
Clerks 2, he's got a bit of money then to spend.
There's a film with Danny McBride. I don't know if I'm going from tangent to tangent here, but there's a film called The Fit-First Way.
Fit-First Way, yeah, with Danny McBride.
I can't remember the director's name.
Jody Hill.
Jody, yeah, that was
Jody Hill, mate.
And in order for him to get the funding for that movie, he just maxed out credit cards.
Yeah, mate, they talk about on the Pineapple Express director's commentary. Jody Hill's not there, but they're talking about how like, oh no, it's the super bad one because Danny McBride's an extra in the back of the party scene. You blink and you'll miss him, and they're like, wait for Danny's big moment and that. They're talking about Fit-First Way, how like they're saying they're like, oh, Danny's gonna be massive soon, and literally 5 years later he's like in everything. He was in pretty much everything. He's on Coral fucking adverts for fuck's sake. Remember when the World Cup was 2018? He was doing the Coral adverts. Like
that's what I mean. And that Jody guy said, "Want some advice? Don't do it the way we did it," because, like I said, he got lucky. He got lucky that film made money because if it didn't, he would have to pay back all that debt.
Eastbound and Down is fucking hilarious, mate. Mm-hmm. You need to watch that.
I love that feeling when you take a chance and watch a film that you've not seen before, or maybe you might have heard of it, and you watch it and you're like, "Holy shit, that was a good film." Mm-hmm. It doesn't happen very often these days, but
I can't remember the last time it does that.
I fall into a loop. I'm getting to that age where I'm more stubborn in things I like.
Tell you, actually, the last film that did that to me, because I hated the original Iron Man. The first Captain America film, wasn't a fan. First four, like that's why I didn't really get into the MCU to start with. Because these first films, I was just like, what the fuck is this? Me and my brother walked out of the first Iron Man in cinema. And last year, right before we'd done the Mitch episode, I can't remember what Instagram profile it was, but they were talking about the Winter Soldier, Captain America film. That was like one of the greatest MCU films, and if you ain't into it yet, watch that to begin with. Leia! No barkies. Anyway,
just people laying.
Relax yourself. Come on, good girl. So yeah, I was watching The Winter Soldier and I was like, holy shit, this is a badass film, you know, like really good, story wise, action wise. And then I just fell into a fucking MCU rabbit hole, and culminated the other day with watching fucking Doctor Strange twice in a week. But it was worth it though.
You watched it on your own. I watched it with Rachel, and then we watched it together. And I enjoyed it a lot more the second time. I just love that it's just abstract as fuck as well. All these different dimensions. It's right up our street of what we're into. The idea of these separate dimensions. I love the idea put across about how that every time we dream of ourselves in a certain situation, it's actually just
that's your multiversal self.
Yeah,
that's your other
self going through that situation.
Like that's a real thing that's happening, but in a different universe. I mean, it's a cool concept.
Do you think that's what déjà vu is?
No, because I get déjà vu and it's stuff that's happened to me now.
Do you know what déjà vu means?
What does it mean?
It's French. It means already seen.
Yeah, because like I get it all the time. Like it'll be a brief glimpse of something. I'll be like, holy shit, that has happened before. Or it's happening now, or I've seen it before. It's like, do you know what I mean?
Do you think that sometimes our lives can be so monotonous that we just think, oh, this has happened before, and it's like, yeah, it happens every week?
No, because I've genuinely had moments like I'll be daydreaming, for example, in school, just daydreaming about walking somewhere or playing football, playing basketball, just fucking glimpses of surroundings. You can't describe it because you haven't been there yet. And then when you are there and it happens the exact same way, you're like, whoa, like this has happened before, or I've seen this before. I knew this was going to happen. Do you know what I mean? You get those moments.
The scientific explanation to that is that, I'm probably going to butcher the explanation here because it's been a while since I read about it, but something along the lines of your brain catching up with itself. I'll tell you a weird one. I used to experience dream déjà vu. So you'd have a dream and you're like, I've been here before. This has happened before, but it hasn't. That's a weird one. But apparently that's because, again, like with the dream, it's slow catching up with itself. So it has happened, but it hasn't happened yet. And the other part of your brain, I don't fucking know. But it's somewhere along those lines.
I do get that with dreams, though. This is going to turn into dreams 0.5.
No, that's all
I
right.
get that with dreams with like, I'll have a dream when I was younger, and then it happens when I'm older. Like for my 13th birthday, for example. I've told you this before, I swear I have. Where I must have been about 8. I was dreaming of a party. People were on this side of the couch. A couple of people here. Didn't know who they were at the time. A couple of years later, comes up to my 13th party. The exact same thing, the exact situation's happening, but I'm with people I know. And I was sitting there and I was like, this has fucking happened before. I dreamt this. This happened. I just didn't know these people then. I know them now. It makes sense. Their faces are revealed. You know what I mean? It's like the dreams rendered itself. It's pretty mental.
That's why sometimes it's hard to run away in certain dreams. Your legs can't go fast enough. And again, that ties into the same explanation of the slow rendering or the déjà vu or the dream can't catch up with itself. That's fascinating stuff, you know.
But do you reckon dreams are like an extension of ourselves?
I think it's the brain expressing itself purely on emotions, which is the amygdala and hippocampus. It's different parts of the brain. That's how that's how that part of the brain conceptualizes the world.
Like I said,
through a very abstract emotional nature.
Like I said before, I've never felt emotion in dreams. Like I'll wake up and be like,
do you not feel a vibe or presence of sort? You feel a certain state, whether it be a love dream or whether it be a dream of fear, or you feel the emotions that you feel: pleasure, love, sadness, happiness.
It's funny because we had that last podcast we done, and I was saying, I've smoked so much bloody marijuana, I don't dream. And the next day I fucking started dreaming, right, and it was a really lucid fucking dream of it was like Britain's Got Talent, but I was the only judge, and people were just taking it in turns coming on the stage to fucking break a different bone. They were like, so this is my fibula. Like, it was fucking weird, man. And I woke up like, whoa, that was weird, man. What does that mean? Do you know what I mean? I was like, what the fuck?
But it doesn't mean anything. It means something to you specifically. But I hate these fucking dream books that will say, oh, you dreamt about you're drowning because you're overwhelmed right now in the rat race of life. And it's like, this applies to, automatically that applies to 75% of the Western world.
If someone reads that is having trouble with the rat race of life,
and it's what's
working a dead-end job, they're going to be like, that applies to me.
And also as well is that people are prone to cognitive reframing, not necessarily cognitive bias, dissonance, but reframing, where people will cherry pick the values that apply to them. So someone will be reading a horoscope, right? And there will be these broad, not necessarily broad explanations, but these broad tangents that people can relate to instantly because everybody's got their own little interpretation of it in their head. And if they've got that cognitive reframing, they're going to force themselves to accept that idea.
Yeah.
Because they will be quick to dismiss, like, oh, it says such and such thing. Well, that never happened, but this did. So it's like, again, reframing.
Just because I'm not a cynic, but I'm not a skeptic either.
You are an existential nihilist. You don't know why you're here. You don't know where it goes, but you might as well come to your own conclusions.
No one knows why we're here.
But you come to your own conclusions, right? So it's what's called existential nihilism.
Dead set on my view. Like, do you know what I mean? Some people are like one thing, like, I believe in this and I will never change. Even if the Jesus Christ has been made out to be a lie. He's still real in my eyes.
My dad the other night was watching, I think it might be the Rangers game. I don't know who they're up against. But my dad...
Frankfurt. It was the final.
Frankfurt, that was it. And my dad, he doesn't do this very often these days.
Is he a Rangers fan, like, subconsciously?
I think so.
A little bit, yeah. Fair enough. That's probably why. Because you might not be a massive fan of... But if your family's got a team and they're in a final or something, then you get a little bit, like, you get the excitement. You're like, oh.
Well, he went to the
Rangers are on Satire today.
He watched it. He had the night off work and went to the Everards and watched it. And he was fucking, apparently, he said he was screaming at the TV. He accidentally punched a lamp. Right? And he said fucking knuckles were killing him. And then I was on the phone to him. His voice was quite raspy because from all the shouting.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going home.
All right, son. Shaun, Daniel. What are you doing, Alan?
Yeah, so...
30, George, leave us alone.
And then he said, why do we do this to ourselves? But you know what? I'm guilty of it too. Like, I'm not a big football guy, but when the internationals were happening, the most recent one, 2021, I'll dip in and out of it because I knew that there's an illusion of sort, this patriotic, nationalistic kind of attitude that it brings us together, right? And for me, I go into it willingly. Like I let it lure me in. Someone might say, because don't forget, 2021, everyone starts coming back out again, starts hanging out. So someone invites me around their home with a bunch of people. They're like, we're watching the England game. I think it was England, Denmark, whatever. And I just felt it. I could feel the atmosphere reeling me in, and I just let it happen.
Yeah,
it was so fun. It was fun.
Yeah, I get World Cups and European Cups. I do, like when England are playing and that. I do get excited, man, because I am a fan of football in general. Anyway, like I like to see like youngish English talent coming up and shit like that. Like,
I feel sorry for people.
I'm not a diehard flag waver. I'm just like, I'm more into the Premier League, like the leagues, cups, stuff like that. But I like to see England do well, because then it means like
we all have our...
Your nation's league is doing well then.
When I was at school, like, there'd always be these little...
and that sounds really nonsense. Like,
no.
Here's a Weathers, let's watch the England game.
When I was at school, right?
Yeah. Sorry.
Kids would be doing their own little thing, and I'd never be a part of it. I don't know why. I never felt the need to be part of that collective at that young age. I remember when Pokemon cards became a big thing, or football was always popular, but like I remember football cards.
But did you think that at that young age though?
At that young age?
It wasn't until I got to senior school that I turned into a bit of a hipster like that.
Yeah, I just didn't care for it. You know, I remember we used to play British Bulldog in the junior school. And basically, it's just kids.
Bulldog, man.
It was savage.
Bulldog,
savage game. So
how many people would be like? It would start with 2 people chasing like 10 people, and if you get you got to run from one end of the park to the other, and if you get touched, you'll then with the 3 people try to catch people, and the last one's the winner.
It was fucking savage.
Kids were getting a lot of arguments.
Mate, kids were getting fucking clotheslined.
Yeah, you just fucking. I remember I won't say his name just because he probably kicked my ass, but he wasn't even playing, or do you know when someone doesn't touch you and they're kind of like higher up in the popularity scale, so everyone just takes them at their fucking word, like no, he did touch you, you're your bulldog. It's like I got well angry one day because I know for a fact he didn't touch me. And I was just fucking pushing him, but because I'm quite skinny and he was a big fucking guy, he wasn't moving. I was just like, fuck you fucking... And he was just laughing at me, and I was just like, there's nothing I could do. I had to be bulldog, even though I didn't even get touched. I
can imagine you trying to run back in the box like, get back.
I was just trying to kick this guy's ass that was made of steel. I just couldn't. I had to be it.
He's like Colossus in X-Men.
Yeah, literally. I was just like
fucking metal.
I was just trying to stick up for myself. I was like, no, I'm not fucking.
You drew the line though, like, you know what I mean. You didn't just take it willingly.
Yeah, I mean, I did still end up being bulldog. I tried stick, but oh mate.
Well, Pokemon cards came in right about 99, and every kid on the playground was like, "Anyone playing bulldogs?" Like, no, Pokemon cards, mate.
Yeah, mate. I tell you what, but that's one thing I regret the most is because you're quite good at it. But see if I saved my fucking Charizards and everything, put them in sleeves like I do now, I'd be a rich man.
I think I save certain things by accident because I completely forget about them. Like I'll do a little clean out and pack up a bunch of books, bunch of video games, put them in the loft, and just sort of forget about them because I don't really have the means to.
And then you look at them again, you're like, your brain like. Ding.
It wasn't until I took you up into the loft that you're like, by the power of Grayskull.
Yeah, man, I was like in heaven. I was like, Daniel, were you throwing this stuff away? What the fuck? Obviously not, but it's in the loft. Man, I'd be fucking. This would be that NC64 would be framed in a fucking case on my wall. It wouldn't be in the fucking loft.
I know.
Even the PS2, man, I'd be jamming that.
The controller's fucked though.
I need to buy another one.
I will, but they're hard to get. A third party,
the originals.
Yeah.
But third party ones. What were they called? I don't care anymore, Mum.
We got other channels. We're going down other avenues as well as podcasting. My book is now available for mass production.
Yes, it is.
I've gone down the wholesale route. I don't know why I didn't do it earlier. I just stumbled upon it by pure chance, by accident.
I just wanted to let it. What's the word I'm looking for?
It went not a gestation period, but like a post. There come a point where I was like, I want to kind of sell this myself as well, because Amazon gets a big chunk. So I was like, right, let's do this.
How do you reckon people got taught how to ride a blimp?
I don't know, mate. I could take a guess.
Do you reckon they had those little gyroscope things and that, like, to make sure they're going on the straight path? Or was it just a case of...
I think it stemmed from the high airballoon, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Someone figured out that if you can do a thing. I don't know the fucking process. I've never looked into it. I never Googled hot air balloons. I'm empty on that one. But yeah, I went down the wholesale route, and it's like, cool. That's another thing I've learned. It's always learning, because we're in the digital age now, so it's always a case of adapting and keeping up with the times. You don't have to be Mr. Tech savvy, but just know enough of your environment, both physically and
it's hard these days though, like, everything's always fucking changing. It's like with the Instagram, it's like if you're not constantly on it every day, posting a reel every 2 hours, you get stuck in the mud.
Do you know what though? Do you know what pisses me off about that sort of culture, that internet culture?
What's that?
Is you always get people that'll just post this entrepreneurial, and I don't mind like the entrepreneurial lifestyle, but it's just this entrepreneurial fucking pseudo intellectual bullshit where it's like 6 ways to improve your life. Get up at 5 a.m. Go to bed at 2 a.m. You know what I mean? It's like, it's stupid advice. It's like,
make sure you get your 8 hours.
Have a cold shower.
Have a cold shower.
And the guy
rest ice cubes on your testicles.
Eat avocado.
Eat green mush.
It's like when people, it used to baffle me as a child when I'd see like a kid just digging into a fucking kiwi. That's the best thing they'd ever fucking eat. Like, oh, kiwi.
Yeah, man.
It's the most disgusting fucking
just
thing.
That weird kid sitting in the corner of the classroom just eating an orange without peeling it. Just the juice is like
fucking Kevin Spacey and K-Pax just eating the banana with the skin on it. Your produce alone has been worth this trip.
You ate a what? Like a penis.
Nah, man. The dog's coming.
Nah, she's just investigating. She's like, noise? Daddy? Is that you? Is that you in there? Why am I never allowed on the podcast anymore?
We will in the future, you know what I mean? It's all about progress. This is our 50th episode now. And I'll tell you what, it's been a lot of fun. We've been doing this for a year and a bit. And we didn't have any intentions when we started this. It was
I tell you what, like, say for at least the first 10 episodes, that it was just for fun, wasn't it? It wasn't until, I'm going to say personally, it wasn't until we got Tebow where I thought, this is going somewhere, you know, this is actually really, really fun.
That was so much fun as well. Like, I've never had so much fun.
Don't get me, that's no disrespect to the previous guests we had before Tebow. It was just like, that was someone I never thought would be possible. An American comedian that I looked up to for years. Yeah, I would say I looked up to him. He's just a funny guy that lived a cool life and fucking just after that one, I was just like, yeah, man, we can hang with these dudes, you know? We can just chat shit. Make it into a coherent podcast.
We hit a glass ceiling, though, I feel like, with the Zoom chats, because it's just a Zoom chat. Once I got a taste of the studio with Andy, and that's like, yeah, that's what I'm doing with Shaun. Because I enjoyed doing that podcast with Andy, but like it wasn't perfect.
Yeah.
And it just got me in that mindset, like, this is it. I can't go back now. And I didn't go back. But it's been such a transition as well. It's like life has changed so much in such a short space of time. Like before you moved here, I was just kind of playing life by the numbers, you know what I mean? Just go to work, try and be productive as possible in my downtime. I was all right with it, kind of 50-50 with it. You know what I mean? I put in my reading time, put in my writing time, put in my gym time, but other times I just mong out, not really socialise with anyone, and then you come along. I'm fucking out all the time. And people are like, oh, you're looking tan. It's like, it's because being out.
I'm doing shit
enjoying life, sitting there smoking cigarettes by the harbour, or
walking
into a random shop.
Yeah, I just love doing that shit, man. It's like,
it's a nice place to do it as well. Like this place is beautiful.
Yeah, it's got some cool little shops as well. Like, and it's very, very quiet. I know you get the tourists, but like, we'll go to our spots and it will just be quiet. You know what I mean? Blaze a number.
I've been living here for 14 years. Like I've lived in other places, but overall I've been here 14 years. And there's all these spots that I enjoy doing. Like this time last year when you were still living in Corby, you know, I'd like, especially if the weather was nice, I'd smoke a pipe, put my Ray-Bans on, and just go for a walk and listen to music and get all these creative ideas about what we'd be doing in the future. And now you're here and it's like we're doing it. It's like fucking, it's wonderful, man. I very seldom get drunk, right? I'll drink like maybe once, like twice a month. Very rarely do I do it on my own.
Mm-hmm.
And I did it the other night. I just thought, got no work tomorrow. I'll just fucking get drunk. Drank half a bottle of red wine. It was Bordeaux stuff too. Superior, I think it's called. Bordeaux Superior.
It's a gay, yeah.
Emmener du fromage. You know?
Le table. Un crayon.
Le canet d'oasis.
Guinness. I don't know, I'm just saying words now.
Yeah.
Making it French.
Oh, mate, real quick. Like, we'll go back to that in a second, right? I don't know what we were just on there, because, you know, I'm fucking high as shit. But a little tangent.
Throwing a curve.
So I actually nearly quit about 6 months into that job, because I caught wind of this whole update that the French and Belgium stores were doing on their tills. And there's going to be a lot more work for me. I was going to have to, my French game was going to have to be next level, because I was dealing with banking. I failed maths. And now I'm doing it in another language. Like, yeah. Like I was smoking a lot of weed as well, right? So I'll be like hitting that shot, like, oh fuck. The realization would just dawn on me. I'll be like, oh no. And then like people going behind my back in the office because they were just dicks. There was this woman that was another French speaker. She actually was French. She looked like Jackie Stallone. You know what I mean? She just looked like a cross between Jackie Stallone.
It's me, Jackie. Yeah, it's Jackie.
She looked like a cross between Jackie and that fucking guy that gets melted by the biological hazard in RoboCop.
Like Flubber.
And he gets fucking ran over, doesn't he? Mate, those effects.
The film Flubber.
Yeah, I watched it with Rachel recently. My Disney Plus membership was up because I cancelled everything except for Amazon, because you know I need those deliveries.
Yeah.
And I thought, when they're like, oh, you want deliveries? Well, here's some streaming service to go along with it. It's like, oh.
Really? You got another 3 months?
No, I'm just on Amazon. Everything else is off.
Oh, okay.
So Rachel and I decided to check out the old Disney before we lost it. And Flubber was one of them.
Flubber, man.
I think we were hung over as well, both of us. Or we just could be asked. One or the other. One of those Sunday mornings, you know, watching Flubber.
You know, just chilling out, hanging on a Sunday, watching Flubber.
Yeah.
With my granny's big bush.
So anyway, right? So I'm working in this place, right? So I'm getting high as fuck, and then the realization would hit me that, oh my God, I got to do banking in French in the next month if I don't quit. And everybody was talking shit about me at the office, especially this Jackie Stallone mutant.
What's he talking shit about you for? What were you doing?
I was just like on Sundays and that, I just wouldn't do any work and just fucking look up film trivia. That's how I was having like a midlife crisis at 24. It was like I was watching Long Lost Families in my downtime. Have a little.
What movie trivia were you searching?
Oh mate, I'll just be like, oh, Equilibrium. Let's look at Equilibrium, and I'll learn about Equilibrium.
Is gun kata a real martial art?
Well, like here's a bit of trivia for you that I memorized from that era.
Go on.
The director, Kurt Wimmer. That's it, Kurt Wimmer. Right. He was the writer and director of Equilibrium.
Is it Wimmer or Vimmer?
I don't know. But the opening scene when they're doing gun kata, it's just the one dude doing gun kata. That was actually Kurt Wimmer himself.
What, the guy?
The director, yeah.
He was playing that role.
Yeah. That one little intro scene.
Is he a gun cutter expert?
He had his own interpretation of gun cutter, so you see it as being a lot more slower and more like Tai Chi in the opening scene, where it's more kinetic in the rest of the film, because they had differences on how gun kata should be performed. So I was getting dobbed in because I was just spending my Sundays, like, by this point completely fucking done with the job.
What were they saying about you? Oh, that Daniel does no work.
He just fucking looks up. I don't know if they had like
he's looking up fucking flubber quotes.
Like, what was he looking like? They were more confused than mad at me. You know, like, I don't even know if they actually had like my fucking web history up there, but it was just like the most autistic web history you'd ever fucking seen in your life. Ah, so it says here that
African American BBW.
Yeah. And then the last part of my search history was Bordeaux. Places to live in, places to stay in Bordeaux.
How to get the fuck out of here.
Oh, Leia's in the house. This fucking such a passive aggressive supervisor. She was this lady, I won't say her name, but fuck me. Every week it was just like, oh, I just get told what I've done wrong. Not, well done, you've done this right. You know what I mean? Because I did a lot of things right. More than I did things wrong.
Yeah.
You felt like a child, just being fucking micromanaged. You just sat in the office like, oh yeah, I did that wrong. Oh, I did that wrong. All right, can I go back to work, please? And then I was just so fucking done. So I was like, yeah, I'm going to quit. They're like, what? I was like, yeah, I'm just going to quit. Can't be asked. I'm going to be a lifeguard.
You just quit, yeah.
No. They like proper kissing my ass. I'm like, we just want to make sure you're okay and all that. So I was like, so I went for it, right? And I actually kicked his ass when it came to the banking. Mm. They do that really pretentious thing where, because nobody liked me. There was a few people that kind of liked me towards the end because they actually understood. Like, it took them 9 months to figure out my humor. Mm-hmm. They're like, oh, actually, he means no harm. He's actually a funny guy. Some of their banter was quite funny. But they were like the Star Wars nerds.
Fucking Star Wars, yeah. Fuck yeah, Baby Yoda.
Fuck it over. That just spontaneously combusted. And anyway, fuck that place. Why am I talking about it? I just wanted to tell you that one story about that one technician. You know what I mean? So recently I got inspired by this writer named David Sedaris. Donna gave me a book by him. It's basically, he writes a diary. That's his style. He just writes. He's defined as a humorist. He'll write about his life and then he'll go back over certain ones and polish them up and release them as kind of short stories. And they're like anecdotes. They're really, really good. I'm really into him. His style is, I just get along with it so well. And there's moments where I'm laughed out loud because he's talking about his life. And it's just so well written and it inspired me. I thought maybe I should start writing more about myself. Maybe I'll use a pseudonym, but you know, there's these stories I want to tell. One of them related to working in the office. The story's called Ruthless Bitch because I had a supervisor once named Ruth. And she was a ruthless bitch. But it was all part of the game. It was all part of the rat race. It was all part of climbing that corporate ladder. She knew what she was doing. And I think in reality, outside of work, she was actually a decent person. But in order to play the game, she was a ruthless bitch. And that's what the story would be about. But it will be full of those moments of, I want to go home. And all the other funny shit about me searching up movie trivia out of boredom.
That's the best stories though, isn't it? Based on true...
Yeah, but doing a mixture of both, you know what I mean? Just whatever I feel like on that day is what I'm going to write about. I've got 3 projects on the go. And it's like, I can write about this. I can do this novella about the same weekend being experienced over and over again, like Groundhog Day, but it's 3 days. I was inspired by Majora's Mask, Legend of Zelda. So naturally, I want to do a story about a time loop. Because it always goes back to what inspired us when we were youngsters. The video games, the books, the animes, the TV shows. All these little things that have planted little seeds in our heads.
I suppose that's why I've always been into like apocalyptic zombie, you know what I mean? Apocalyptic worlds.
Yeah.
Because at first it was zombies and then I got into like the Fallout series with that apocalyptic world, which was like a nuclear fallout instead of zombies overrunning the world, you know, it's different. When
we were youngsters, like when we were at school, I think it was quite a common theme to be obsessed with a zombie apocalypse because we were the Resident Evil generation of kids. It was being crammed down our throats, but not in a bad way. Like it was welcomed, you know. Yeah, I know Resident Evil film franchise is a bit hit and miss, but the first film...
We just don't talk about that.
I got time for the first film, but that's about it. I kind of laugh at the CGI of the Nemesis, whatever it is.
When you're younger, yeah, you can accept it, but when you're older and truly understand the games and their lore, they're all shit.
But what I mean to say is like we're a zombie obsessed generation.
Yeah, 100%.
And
I still am, to be honest.
I told you yesterday, I got a bit of a soft spot for World War Z. That third act.
That's another film I boycott as well.
But the third act is worth the film alone.
I mean, because it's filmed well. It's not because it's writ well.
And the thing is as well, it's quite kinetic as well.
Like, that was probably one of the things they had to just shove in at the end. Like, put Brad Pitt running away from her.
Mate, it genuinely is. What I love about it is how the stakes creep up in each act. Mate, it's fucking tense. It's tense.
Still boycott it.
I love the scene in 28 Days Later when they finally reach the army base out on the outskirts of Manchester. And it's just like, what, a dozen army dudes? Like, you
Doctor Who, isn't it?
Leading up to it, yeah. Christopher
Eccleston,
yeah, so he's a good actor. And
best Doctor as well. Actually, no, Matt Smith.
As the film progresses, the guy, can't remember his name, the actor's name, fucking great actor, the big guy, the dad.
Not sure.
He's fucking brilliant in it, and he's filling everyone with hope that once they get to this part in Manchester, because he's got on a radio receiver or something like that, and he's like, we're going to get to this army base and it's going to be fucking us savior. And when they get there, it's fucking hell, because it's just a bunch of men that are horny and they're trying to lure women, trying to recreate society. They've just all gone fucking loopy.
That's a great scene when...
But then he has the zombie. One of their own got bitten. So
isn't it? He looks up and the drop of blood lands in his eye.
Oh, dude, that's savage.
Is that how he turns?
That's how he turns,
or
mate.
is that the girl that gets that?
No, the girl's fine. But he gets... So just as they reach the fucking... What would you call it?
Compound?
Well, before they get to the compound, when they get to the... Manchester's just fucking engulfed in flames. And they've got this little military base on the outside. And it's just teeming with the infected because they're all outside. They all escaped the city. And the dad just starts kicking off and he sees a crow pecking away on a corpse. And he says, get out of it, and boots it because he doesn't want the crow getting all fucking filled with the rage virus. And he boots it and it fucking drops in his eye. And it's like, it's heartbreaking because you've sort of grown a bond with this man. He's a caring, loving father figure and he's optimistic. He's and once he dies, once he's out of the scene, because then he starts getting infected, he starts shaking, all that. It happens within seconds. And he's saying to his daughter, stay away from me, stay away from me. He starts getting rah, rah, rah. And then the fucking army show up, the little platoon, shoot him dead. And it's like, after that point in the movie, all the joy kind of vanishes up until the very end.
Yeah, it's
when Cillian Murphy sort of just rises from the ashes. But anyway, so there's a zombie, an army, one of the army guys is a zombie and he's chained up to a post. And I love that scene when Christopher Eccleston is explaining, says, he's teaching me that he'll never know love, or he'll never have a family, or he'll never have a job, or something in that same vein.
Similar to the governor in The Walking Dead, he keeps his daughter chained up.
Yeah.
He's got that far.
I watched 3 seasons. I tapped out at season 4 when they all started getting the flu in the prison. And I was going out with this girl at the time, and we kind of like went our separate ways around the end of season 3, and then I just didn't bother going back to it. It's one of those things, isn't it? Like when you're in a
lot of people did tap out then.
Mm-hmm.
I get it though, because it is. It's only 3 episodes though. That's what people do. No, actually, it's the first episode and then it ends on a cliffhanger with the guy in the shower like. Ooh. Then the second episode is all the chaos.
Man, I just can't be. I hate it when I become a slave to a TV show. Like, out of blind loyalty, you think, I'll hang in there, and it's like, no, this is a waste of my fucking time.
No, I like Walking Dead is worth sticking up to season 9.
As far as that.
And then because even I was sticking with it. I was like, I love The Walking Dead. I love the comics. They're quite accurate. And then season 10, and then now it's lost me. It really has. It's sad to admit, but I just can't watch it anymore. Not this new stuff anyway. It's garbage. So bad.
I prefer the British structure, like the format they use when it comes to their season.
6 episodes.
6 episodes.
Yeah.
Perfect. America has 22 episodes a season.
It's more like 12, 10 now, isn't it? The Netflix style.
But you still get that mid-season slog on a lot of shows. So me and Rachel got watching Bly Manor, or was it the other one, Hill House, or whatever it's called.
I don't even give TV shows a chance anymore, really. Like, unless...
Well, I generally got into this. We both did. We were like genuinely scared. It was very well done. But then when it gets to like episode 4, 5, and 6, it just dragged, and it was infuriating. And then we finally got there. The finale was so fucking mediocre. I was like, oh, all right, we're done with this now.
But what's a TV show that I think Lost, it never stops. But what is a TV show that's fucking constant, like, except 24?
I'm more of an anthology kind of guy, or like a non-serialized. What do they call it?
Well, where it's not linear.
Yeah,
like it's just
episodic.
different.
It's called episodic.
Episodic.
I like
Black
episodic.
Mirror.
Black Mirror, Rick and Morty. I love episodic things.
Yeah, I get what you mean. But I kind of like
I caught this.
I like a story. Like, I'm a mystery box guy. So like, obviously you've got like a story, and then it's like, whoa, like, what's happening here? The story goes on a left turn, but it'll always come back on its. So like, say you got this story, the story's going well, and then whoa, then like, you know, I mean, half a season it'll be like, where's this going?
Yeah.
Then it'll go back onto its like story.
It's called stakes.
And then by the time it comes full circle, like when the ending is like how the beginning was, I like full circle things, where the story is like, you don't see it at first, but when the last season comes around, you're like, holy shit, this is going full circle. This is mental. You know what I mean? Like Stranger Things, for example, is doing that now. It's like going full circle on itself. It's going back to its origins now.
And we mentioned that last time when we talked about Planet of the Apes, the original from the 60s or 70s. It comes back on itself, and it does it kind of neatly. It's like, nice one.
Yeah, I mean, it tries to anyway. It did what it could back in the day with that kind of storytelling. Luke
Skywalker being a classic example, you know.
See, that's I hate what they did with Luke, but that's still another full circle example. He's now a Force ghost. You know what I mean? He was being trained by technically Obi-Wan.
Yeah, it's diabolical.
No. Wait.
I'll talk about The Empire Strikes Back, mate. But that's
no, I'm not, mate. How dare you insinuate? I'm just saying, right?
I know.
Listen, I'm just saying. What I'm trying to say is, I'll just briefly go over this because I don't want to talk about the sequels as much as the next motherfucker. So yeah, obviously Luke fucking dies, comes back as a Force ghost, and he's Rey's kind of mentor. At the end, she's like, "I'm Rey Skywalker." There you go, Rey Palpatine. So because we've been blasting Left 4 Dead, right? What do you think now?
It's the perfect game for me, ideally, because it's very arcadey in nature, and you don't have to be that accurate.
No, but I mean, like, with Left 4 Dead 1 and 2, how was you? Now I've been, like, playing it with you and talking you through it and showing you shit.
It's 50-50, really. I think the first one's good for all the reasons, like, that we've said to each other before. And the second one is hit and miss because you've got certain zombie characters in it that are just pain in the ass. But better level design.
I just can't get into the second one. I don't know why. I know, like, it's pretty much exactly the same game, but I don't know, there's something about the second one. It's just like,
it goes back to what we were saying earlier, though, like our obsession with a zombie culture. We grew up with Shaun of the Dead.
I know, yeah.
What a fucking great work of satire that was. It wasn't even a parody, it was a satire.
Do you know where that came from as well? Have you ever seen Spaced?
Yeah, the episode when they do ecstasy, then or acid. And he thinks it's Resident Evil.
No, because they're massive Resident Evil fans anyway. So if you watch, like, behind the scenes of Shaun of the Dead, like, that's what they talk about. It's like, we're Resident Evil fans. We did an episode at Space, took up a wheeze and reenacted, like, that laboratory scene. Oh, mate. And, yeah, they're like that. I mean, they were inspired by Resident Evil, so they went and made a zombie comedy film. Zomcom, the first of its kind, really.
I remember when it came out on VHS, because this was literally the twilight of video cassettes.
Yeah, like the last remnants.
I think Shaun of the Dead was actually the last VHS I ever rented from Blockbusters or Choices. I think it was Choices back then.
I think I was way past VHS in senior school.
Here's a random bit of fucking information I have. The last video cassette to be released commercially was The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Was it?
That was the last video cassette ever made.
It's a great film, though, isn't it? It's a great little film.
I tried reading the book and I was like, he's funny, but he's kind of too absurd for my liking. I just love that bit when, like, they're first getting the spaceship and they're both just sofas. And he goes, Ford? He goes, yeah. He goes, I think I'm a sofa. Because I know how you feel. And when the doors open, it's just like the door just goes, Bleh.
Yeah.
Like, did that door just sigh? It's so fucking stupid. And then the door closes and goes, hey. What the fuck?
Mate, that film is actually a little gem, you know.
Mate, and you know what? As you get older as well, the film's smarter because there's that one planet where it's just his Earth got blown up by these aliens because they wanted to build like a fucking highway through it, right? Like an intergalactic highway. Yeah. So he goes to the planet to file a complaint or whatever it is, and they're just riddled with fucking bureaucracy, right? Like you got to sign a form for this, for that form to do this, and it's like worse than France basically, because France is a fucking nightmare when it comes to bureaucracy, and it's just funny. Like he's like, I'm British, I know how to queue.
Yeah, man. Fucking love Hitchhiker's Guide.
I like the film more than I like the book. Can get into the book.
Yeah, okay, yeah, I do as well. To be fair to you,
the Rex Files in the library every Friday or Thursday you get
the
to
Rex Files.
Yeah, like because I had free reign of the library once I'd passed the black reading level.
It's kind of Nazi.
No, it's just library.
Was it a kid child's book?
No, the Rex Files was. It was about two dogs that were detectives.
Was it an actual novel?
It was just like a children's
pop-up book.
No, like a reading. It was a book. It was a book, but it had like pictures on it and stuff. Like no, occasionally there'd be a picture.
Rex.
The Rex Files. They're just detectives.
Just a little pop-up of like, a dildo. Just well, what's this doing in the Rex Files? Oh, whoa! What the fuck?
Yeah,
Rex Files, my ass.
I'm gonna return this.
This is more like the Sex Files. But yeah, the Rex Files. Yeah, what the fuck, Dan?
No, I just every Thursday go get a book.
To be fair, I remember like they'd be like a reading week or like book week or something, and you go in the library and they'd have like a catalogue of like books, and you'd go home with it and be like, Mum, can I get blah blah blah
book fair? That was it.
Yeah, and
book
I remember one year I got Revenge of the Sith, the not graphic novel, just like the novelization of the Revenge of the Sith.
No.
And mate, it was just literally pretty much the Revenge of the Sith screenplay in a novel. It was like literally word for word verbatim the movie, which was kind of cool, but it was like, why would you want to?
Your career.
There's nothing different.
Your career's nosedive when your only gig is fucking novelizations.
Literally to watch the film and write, do it.
He said, do it.
He told Anakin, do it.
His jowls flexed up and down and said, do it. Oh man, fucking hell, we're going left, right, fucking.
But yeah, no, Shaun of the Dead, right, before I lose it, right? You know the bit where he's like, he's going to save her when the zombies actually come. He's going to save Liz. He goes up on his own. He's got the cricket bat in there, and he climbs up the side because he presses the buzzer, and he's like, there's like zombies behind him. He's like, he doesn't even answer the intercom. They're like, Shaun, and then you can hear at the side is,
Can you let me in?
You see the cricket bat, man. It's like, you let me in. No, but he gets up and that, and he's like telling them what they're doing, and they go to the Winchester, and then the fucking Irish guy, what's that comedian's name? Oh, Dylan O'Halloran or something like that. Like he's a pretty funny guy, pretty good comedian as well. And Shaun's in front of them, and he's like washing his specs on his thing, and he's like, "Get fucked, Four Eyes," and he's washing his specs. Like, I don't know what he means by that. I don't know what he means by that. So, it's just, it's just funny little thing.
Mate, I love the bit when the guy, the Grim walks in with like an arm missing, he's a zombie, and they just go, "Oh, he's got an arm off!" He's like, "Oh, he's got an arm off."
He just picks up the Esther like, oh no, they're throwing loads of shit at him at first, didn't they? They're just bouncing off like.
Just that one line kills me.
Oh, he's got an arm off. Cool. Fucking. Oh no, the one that gets me is he's oh, can you check the garden and that? And he opens the blinds and they're like at the window like, he just closes them again. He's like, goes back to Shaun. He's like, yeah, they're in the garden. Yeah, like because he could have just went, yeah, they're still there, but no, he's like, yeah, they're still there.
It's a level of nuance that's genius.
Yeah,
it's
so even
subtle.
when they're hitting them with the bat and they're just going on for ages, like.
Do you know what it is? I think like when you go down the rabbit hole long enough, you start to dissect the art of writing, and you think sometimes actions can reveal character. Sometimes you can use the action to reveal characters based on how they react on any given moment. How someone responds reveals their character. You know, you don't need to have exposition. You don't need to have like just that closing the curtains. It's like it's a
You don't need dialogue. You just need
tells you about who he is.
Yeah. It's just his character in it. Even at the end when they're going up the lift and he's like all fucked up and that, and Shaun's like, "I love you," and he's like, "Gay."
Do you know what though?
Going,
here's a scenario for you. When you really think about it, how buzzing they must have been making that movie, because they knew they had a hit on their hands. They knew it.
do you reckon they did though?
Yeah, easily.
Nah, because that's the first movie they made together.
But when they
Like,
finished
they went
it,
from Spaced to Shaun of the Dead.
yeah, but I mean, like,
and Spaced is not even that big.
yeah, but could you imagine that rap party, or like
I imagine when they first watched it fully edited and that, they would have been sitting there like, this is so good. Like, I don't think they would have been sitting there going,
I would love to go to a film premiere.
oh yeah, 100%.
That's got to be on that.
I wish I was born 5 years earlier.
By the way, I forgot to mention, right? I was talking about David Sedaris.
I know,
It links in perfectly what I'm just saying, right? So we're going to go see him in the Lighthouse in July.
The Lighthouse, is that in Bournemouth?
No, it's in Poole.
Alright, okay.
25
It's a
miles.
bit of a random place to go, isn't it? For him.
But mate, it's like a pretty nice place.
Is it? Yeah.
Proper decent, the Lighthouse.
The Lighthouse. I like Lighthouses.
It's like an art house cinema.
Cool. What's he doing then? Just reading sections of his book?
No, he just tells it. He tells it.
Or just like standing out speaking?
Telling stories, and he's going to make us laugh because he's a funny guy. He's a genuinely funny guy. He's a gay guy from I don't know whereabouts in America he's from, but like he's sold over 13 million copies of his books, since the start of his career in '92.
Just gotta fucking stalk him at the end, like, David.
Well,
come on the podcast, David.
I'll
suck your dick.
I'll play it by ear. Like by the end of the performance, if he's hanging around chatting to people, then I'll introduce myself. But if he's not, then I'm not going to bother him.
Fucking it ends and he's like, well, bye, and that. He walks backstage. Everyone's like, oh, go on. All you'd hear is just a fucking helicopter taking him away. It's like, I ain't staying around here. Fuck Pool.
Yeah, get the bitches on the plane. Like fucking what's his name in there? Oh, that guy in Pain and Gain.
Which one?
The Asian one, the motivational speaker. He's in Hangover.
Oh, what fucking
Chew. Oh, what's his name?
Andy something. Nah. Choi. It's Choi in Hangover. Fucking Choi. I know the guy's real name though. It's not Andy Sandberg. Nah, I'm joking.
Sandberg.
Is it Rowan Atkinson?
I'm all about the Chinese guy.
I know. I'm just saying random names, mate. Sorry.
He's Korean. I don't know. But anyway.
No, he is Chinese.
But like, if the occasion calls for it, we'll introduce ourselves.
Yeah, man.
And
should we go with tuxedos painted on our naked body?
Mate, we'll have like those. We'll have those like fucking stripper outfits on where it's like a suit and it's got like a little asshole square on it.
Just go with assless chaps on.
Those leather pants.
What would it say the other week? Fucking ballless chaps.
Assless chaps.
Assless and ballless.
That reminds me of the thing I was going on about earlier, like the technology that's going into women's leggings right now. I work in a gym, man. We're talking hundreds of thousands here being fucking put into the technology that goes into leggings.
And the trickery involved, man.
Mate, it's clear violations of the Trade Descriptions Act of 2003.
It's that you go into Primark now and there's like jeggings, leggings, ass enhancing pump fucking.
All they need to come up with now is like a sort of something that helps deal with the gun.
The gun.
For those who don't know what a gun is, it's when the gut merges with the...
It's a cunt.
You said it.
The vagina.
It's called a gun.
The pussy.
And it's like, sometimes...
The flower.
And some people really stuff it up in there. You know what I mean?
The muffin top.
Yeah. You just get a glimpse of it. It's like, when people got that backwards ass.
Yeah. You ever been with a chick that has a vagina that looks like a punch pizza?
Half overfilled doner.
An overfilled doner. Overfilling with mayo and sweet chili.
Oh man, it's disgusting. I don't care.
Fucking Bush took a trial. Can drop lasagna.
Punch pizza.
Fanny like a butcher's bin. What do you reckon girls say about dicks and that? Like fucking penis like an ironing board. Fucking balls like acorns.
Like Doc Brown's head.
Oh, his foreskin looked like Darth Vader. I mean, his helmet looked like, I don't know. I don't know what girls say about our dicks, man.
Oh man, all sorts. French fries.
Do you reckon they're like, oh, he's
French fries? He's got a little noodle.
Noodle cock.
Yeah, we call him the ramen noodle.
Hash brown penis. Yo, you know fucking Timmy? Have you ever fucked Timmy? Oh, you're such a hash brown looking cock.
I feel sorry for guys that have to get cock extensions, you know. It's a real procedure.
Yeah, man. The last.
They get like a little plastic sleeve put in there. Fucking, I had to save Rachel from choking once when we were watching Patch Adams. They had not long done my fucking first aid course, right? So I was ready for this moment, right? We're just watching Patch Adams. What a piece of shit film that was. This is based on a true story of a guy who's not a doctor.
Patch
He took prosumerism too far. You know, some things you do need to do.
Yes, Patch Adams did have hairy knuckles.
No, that was Grizzly Adams.
I know, but Robin Williams had hairy knuckles.
He did.
Patch Adams did have hairy knuckles.
So anyway, poor Rachel.
Sorry.
So Rachel, right, is choking on.
Anyway, Rachel's nearly dead. Anyway,
she's choking on his M&M, right? And I'm just like, alrighty, here we go.
I don't mean to laugh. Sorry.
No, don't laugh. It was quite a perilous situation, Shaun. No. She was like, no, she was just coughing normally,
right?
But just kept coughing too long. So I was like, right, here we go. And I was like, whoosh. Right, you got to do the 5 pats, right? So you get him to cough, and then you do the 5 pats, right? And by slap number 3, it gets progressively harder. So I was like, whoosh, right? And it just went, it just fucking went, yeah, it was like one slap away from being fucking wife beaten, domestic abuse. I was saving a life, you know what I mean? So,
as long as you're saving a life, I can kick the fuck out of him.
By the 5th slap, I just get a fucking chair.
fucking iron. Doing. Is it out yet?
Alright, so by the
so anyway, a plant pot. Are you okay, love?
I thought we'd peace lily for our birthday. Is your birthday present, Ellie?
A sewing machine. Doing. Is it out yet? Just a wrestling belt.
Fucking bars. With the water still in it.
Just a dog. Just a trolley.
Goldfish bowl.
With the goldfish. Just
fucking,
a whole aquarium.
A
fucking loads of different species of fish.
A fucking clownfish with its anemone. Like Finding Nemo. I think those things sting.
Just a 3D machine. One of those. Doing.
Oh man, we've gone off the edge, bro.
We're just physically.
So anyway. So by the 3rd pat. The fucking M&M went through my esophagus into a mouth, back into a fucking stomach. Loink. And then
saved a life.
And then we carried on watching Patch Adams. Like nothing ever happened. It just kept going back to The Empire Strikes Back about how it's done properly. The hero's journey. When Luke Skywalker's told to go into the cave, I think that's a sort of Jungian philosophy of, you know, the dark half exists within this cave and you have to confront yourself. And when he strikes down Darth Vader inside the cave, the helmet blows up and it's Luke Skywalker's face, only for it to be revealed later on in the movie that Darth Vader is his father. So it plays into that. I don't know if it's Carl Jung or if it's Joseph Campbell, but it talks about we are the ancestral father. There's a sort of essence of or this legacy, if you will, where our fathers before us and the fathers before them, you know, it's this kind of lineage within our DNA. There's certain characteristics that live on within us that make us very similar. And it's like we're going down this legacy, but is it the dark half of them going down our father's legacy? There's a dark side to that father's legacy is what I'm trying to say, you know.
I've always seen that scene as like he could easily be pulled to the dark side.
Yeah, because he has to reject that part of himself. He has to become the master of both worlds. And, you know...
Sort of make up your own mind and whatever happened and shit like that. Like, you know, like... right, I'm gonna give you a sales pitch.
Oh, yeah, that reminds me, right? You're going to sell this to me and I'm going to sell spy games to you.
So, right, it's like a group of unknown people... 42 of them on a plane, and first episode, the pilot, I'm not going to spoil too much, but I'll give a gist. The plane breaks off in midair over an island, and they crash land. And so for the first season, you're only getting like the front side of the plane's perspective of everything. They're all strangers making bonds. Like the whole first season is them just being a group. And there's a bit in the first season where I don't know if I'm going to spoil anything here. What do you think? Nah, I'm not going to spoil anything. So Jack, the main guy in it, is a doctor, and he's transporting his dad from Australia who died. I'm not spoiling anything here. He's died in Australia and he's transporting his coffin back to America, obviously, to get him buried. And so Jack is on the island, and he's like he's been helping people the first couple of days. He's not really had much sleep. He starts seeing his dad walking through the woods and that, and he says to people, he's like, can you see that? And they turn around, they're like, no. So like by the third time, he just starts fucking chasing him through the woods, chasing his fucking dad's ghost through the woods.
That's deep, bro. That's deep.
I know, and this is it all ties up. I'm not spoiling anything. So him chasing his dad leads him to this cave. Well, yeah, leads him to a cave, like with fresh water, all this shit that they've been needing. And in that cave, right, is his dad's coffin. Right? This is where it gets deeper. So he doesn't know what to do. He's sitting there over his dad's coffin and that, and he's like, I've just been chasing him through the woods, like. And he just starts getting really angry, and he fucking smashes the coffin up in that, and his dad's body's not in it.
Fuck.
So,
man, I'm fucking blazed. Sorry, like, anyway, spy game.
Spy game.
Sorry, man. Sometimes weed just puts your mind on a fucking mad loop. Spy games is I'm a sucker for like day in the life kind of storylines. A storyline that takes place over a day.
Yeah.
Happens in one day. Almost like real time, but not quite. There's a film I need to check out with Johnny Depp in it called Nick of Time, which is a real time movie. A bit like Phone Booth. And there's some others out there, but I can't think of them. But anyway, so
Dude, where's my car?
I kind of like that film because of it. I know it's kind of corny now.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
That scene when, hey, Mrs. Crabbleman.
Fucking stoners.
She just drives that fucking stoners. That's quite funny.
She actually just runs him over as well. She doesn't give a fuck. She's just like...
Imagine watching that in the cinema.
She actually aims for him. Like, that's the funny
hey,
thing.
Mrs. Crabbleman.
She's like...
Fucking, like, her eyes are this far above the steering
but
wheel.
the funniest thing is, he gets straight back up like, oh, fucking... What does he say? He's like, oh... So something about her.
He just brushes it off like, yeah, okay.
It's like, oh, well, look at how we're walking. And they stare,
man.
and it's like not even that far, but like the camera angle makes it like warm to them. It's funny.
Yeah, it's a day in the life. I love it.
Spy who's in it? I don't think I've ever
Robert Redford and Brad Pitt.
Brad shit.
He looks perturbed, more like perturbed.
Perturbed.
Because you left a big jobby in the disabled toilet at McDonald's. It wouldn't flush. And the kid came out like...
Hey, yeah. I went in there, right? Guy gave me the key. And he was opening it pure slowly. I was like, I hope there's not a guy taking a massive shit in there. He's like, neither do I. Oh, so do I. And he pure opened it slowly, like...
Just a fucking OnlyFans session.
Just fucking chick in there, like... Woo! But yeah, I fucking mate. I can't remember what I ate the night before, but it was like a Mr. Whippy in the fucking. I must have flushed it like 30 times as well. I was like, well, this fucking thing's not going. That's why I was in there for a bit longer.
Mate, have you ever been in that situation? It's like from the film Along Came Polly. Is it Along Came Polly? No. Well, right. There's two things. It's Along Came Polly, like where he's got IBS and he goes to the restaurant with Jennifer Aniston, who loves like proper legit Indian food, or
like proper hot,
eating with your hands and shit, you know. Yeah. And he's got IBS, but he goes along with it. He's fucking profusely sweating. He goes into the cubicle, the toilet, and there's like some dude in there. You just see his shoes. You're like, occupied. He's like, I'm gonna be here all night, dude. And so he goes back to her house, like first time he's ever gone to this chick's house, and he ends up taking a shit, and it's like making these squeaky noises, like oh. And then the ferret comes crawling under the door.
Yeah.
Like, get out of here, right? And anyway, so he's got nothing to wipe his ass with, and he sees like this little towel, this small towel that looks like unique.
Yeah.
He wipes his ass with it and then flushes it, and the fucking water starts going up, right? And he's like, please, I'll start giving to charity and I'll adopt a Somalian. You know what I mean? And the water just starts going up. He's like, no. It's your fucking worst nightmare.
Yeah, it comes out the door and that.
Yeah, and she's just like, ooh, when she goes in, he's fucking got his keg, he's got his trousers down to his ankles, right? And he's got the plunger, like trying to get with the loofah and all that. And then it turned out to be grandma's handmade fucking towel.
Yeah. Then the other one's fucking Dumb and Dumber, huh?
But yeah, so, and then obviously there's Alex and Grandma's Boy, and the clocks keep going off. He's like, why are you doing this to me? So I was merging those two together because I've been in that situation where a jobby don't go down. And you're flooding, it's not your house.
Yeah.
Oh, bro, one time, right, I had this girlfriend I was with for like a year. I didn't want shit in her toilet until I had diarrhea one time. Right? It was around Christmas, something.
Diarrhea is easy to flush.
Yeah, but mate, I never used that toilet before. And her dad was like, just fucking like in the next room out on the computer, like, you know that old married couple that just don't fucking communicate with each other.
All you can hear in the next room is flum.
Yeah, no, you just hear my asshole exploding. It's like, come on. Oh mate, and the fart noise is like, I don't know what it was with the structure of this toilet, but like it just echoed. It carried.
Room.
It's like that. It's like that Till Tuesday song. Instead of voices carry, it's farts carry. Anyway, so because like what happened was I was like sat with her and all that, and I was farting like just being a typical 18-year-old dude, like. And by the third fart, I was like, I need to investigate. So I went upstairs, and it's just blah.
Like the door from Hitchhiker.
My arsehole just went. I think my arsehole just sighed.
What the piss noise?
It's fucking.
I remember I was ill with diarrhea, and like my mum used to be like, "Oh, have you got poopy?"
Poopy. It's a double entendre.
I know. Have you got poopy? I'm like, I do. I'm peeing out my bum.
Mate, I had Norovirus once. I was 22. Just vomiting shit in 6 days straight, man. And I was like, I become, you know, those JML like
you become one with your own ass.
You know when you get those JML adverts where like you fold a bunch of clothes and put inside this little plastic bag, and then it's got like a vacuum end to it. It's like, and it just gets it down to the size of a molecule. Yeah. It's like, whoa, why don't I buy this ever? I just never buy it.
It's just a plastic carrier bag.
Yeah. You just, like, every time I see it being advertised, I'm like, that's fucking genius, but you never buy it.
I never buy anything off those things.
But anyway,
I remember seeing like a juice maker thing once, and I was like,
but the reason why I mentioned that vacuum seal packaging is because that's what I became because of the dehydration from this illness. Norovirus is no joke, right? And it was running rampant among the holiday parks.
Just to get you boosted for the Norovirus.
No, there's no vaccine back then. No one cared. It's like you still had to kind of work. I was crawling out of there one time. It was like, you can go home. Thank you. Thanks. Oh God.
Excuse me.
Excuse me. I need to.
Oh, much better now.
Oh, I can continue working.
Actually, I don't need to go home. I can still work. I just shit my pants.
I've got aftershave. Anyway, so I was by day 6, mate. I look like a fucking Egyptian remain. I look like an autopsy.
Autopsy ass cheeks.
Yeah, just saggy. Just everything just. I look like the mummy like halfway through the film.
Pancake
You
ass.
should not read from the book. Anyway, so I was just
Come on, Benny. Come on, Benny.
I was emaciated, mate.
Goodbye, Benny.
And I just started eating. My appetite came back. I was eating pastas and everything, man. Just a lot of carbohydrates, a lot of protein. I got constipated for 3 days. And I'm just storing food, getting my energy levels back, just getting back to normal. And I had to go shit real bad one time. I'm like 500 yards away from like the actual toilet because I'm working out with the go-karts.
What do you mean you're 500 yards away? Like that's how you aimed?
No, like this is how far away I am from the nearest toilet.
Oh, that's how you had to, how far you had to go to get to the right. Okay, I just in my brain I'm picturing you like bending over like trying to open the door, Stan.
Incoming.
Ah, you hit me in the face, Daniel. That's twice this week.
The controversial decision. Anyway, so I was like 500 yards away from the nearest fucking toilet, which was in the complex. I've taken you to this place. You know that big green fucking dome?
Yeah.
That's where I was working.
Just took a shit there and then.
No,
in the archery bit,
so,
the archery section. Just put one of the archery boards on the floor and hit the bullseye.
Here's what happened, right? So, bearing in mind, right, just come out of Norovirus, 3 days constipation, 3 days worth of backdated food that I've been eating like a motherfucker, get my strength back.
Some Yakults.
A lot, yeah, Yakults. Denon.
At all protected. At all protected.
Drink responsibly.
Don't smoke tobacco, kids. There's no advert saying that anyway, so.
Not anymore.
Don't vape. What the fuck were we even talking about? I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, so like I need to go for shit.
Yeah,
I need to go for shit real bad. And I was stuck in this sports range. And the go-karts are there. I can't leave. The other coach is doing his driving lesson. I'm covering for him. I'm like, fuck. But it's September. Fencing comes along. No one books on. Great sound. I'm just pacing up and down, man. Fucking just holding in this.
Someone put into fencing and you have to like on guard.
On guard.
Oh my! It's the white costume in that. You just got a brown patch on
That was blue, thankfully.
Oh, thankfully.
Dark blue.
It still would have been like a dark blue little ass patch.
Doing my little Die Another Day fucking. Have you ever seen Die Another Day?
He went. Sorry, I'm gonna have to cut fencing short here, Tim. I seem to have shit my pants.
I had to take a shit in hole 18, a little mini golf next to it.
Sorry, lads, I'm sorry for a shit here, all in one. Oh man!
If you could pop past this jobby, you fucking add it to your handicap. It's a bonus point.
Hey lads, this has just changed into a game of mini golf. Aim round the poo.
So no one books on defence, and thank fucking God. Right. Football comes along, and I'm getting nervous. I'm like 11 o'clock football. No one shows up.
Football would have done it, mate.
Oh mate,
you would have shit your pants.
I would have shit my pants. Right, so
that would have done it.
Gets to 12 o'clock, right? It's lunchtime. I'm just pacing up and down, fantasizing about having a shit because I've got like Armageddon backed up in me, bro. And it's you know my first solid poo inbound. Right, first solid poo 9 days inbound. Special occasion. Gets to 1 o'clock. People show up for archery. I start setting up the archery. I'm like, oh Jesus Christ, these big fucking. Nah, it's fine. I'm holding in tight, squeezing, man. I got strong glutes, man. Like a Greek god, just holding it in, right? And anyway, the guy shows up, and I'm like, see you later. And I just walk very carefully to the complex. I get to that toilet, man, and holy shit, if I could relive any moment of my life, I mean, yeah, you'd think by the end of my life, but I'd want to see my parents again, or I just want to relive that shit. That was the best shit I'd ever had. Oh, I just sat there for like 20 minutes. I was empty, bro, by the end. You know, like we get that last poo at the end. So,
yeah, it just comes out like a fucking
whippy.
It just comes out like a fucking.
And you're like, bro, I'm empty. You wipe, and it's like, oh, dude, I'm empty.
Yeah, your wipe is like a ghost wipe. There's nothing there.
Oh, phantom wipe.
Yeah.
Phantom poo.
You ever had one of those shits, right?
My ass is haunted.
I have a similar story where, but it's the opposite. It's the opposite way around.
I can't believe I told that story, but I did it.
Fuck it. Everyone shits, bro. Mine's the opposite way around. All right. I was eating so much shit in this house shit I was living in. I was just eating.
Rustlers.
Pretty much. I was working in the bookies, right, and just like the shop I would do would consist of Rustlers burgers, fucking
30%.
a random bag of flour,
30% living animal.
Yeah. Just fucking little bit, and then. Yeah, I just constantly eating shit, and then there's one day at the bookies, like the proper supervisor was on as well, like the kind of strict one, and I was just like had this like knot in my belly for like 2 hours, and like then she went out to get lunch now and came back with a sandwich, and I always felt rude if I didn't eat like what they bought me.
That you just piling more
so
shit on.
I was just munching it like So it comes to a point right where I was just watching the telly, like when you're like dying for a shit, you start hallucinating.
A little bit.
Yeah. You're just like, I was staring at the telly like, I can hold it. I can't hold this. I was like, I need to go for a shit in that. She was like, yeah, everyone's human. You go for a shit in that. What I didn't realise is this shit was like a bowling ball trying to fit into a mouse hole. It was fucking like...
You weren't fully dilated.
Yeah.
Mate, have you ever done that? Have you ever shit too early? You're not fully dilated. And it's just like this. It's like... You get ring sting. That's why I like to shit in the disabled toilets, man. So I've got something to hold on to.
Yeah, that's what I've been doing the past couple of days. You know how we're like going town getting a coffee and then I instantly need a shit. And then we'll go into McDonald's or something, yeah. I've just been squeezing them out. My asshole's like reap the consequences afterwards. Like it's like a fucking like...
Is that why you walk funny? I'm joking.
I have been walking funny the past couple. I've got a little strain in my...
I know, you've hurt your groin, you've hurt your ankle. I was just fucking
groin. I've been struggling to figure out what the fuck that was called the past 2 days. I'm like, my wishbone.
My wishbone.
Mate, I felt like a wishbone earlier when you were trying to stretch me out, man. Jesus Christ.
Mate, I'm a professional.
Yeah, I know, but I'm fucking... bony. I thought I was gonna snap it off. You were like, stretch out. I was like, I fucking can't anymore. You're like, nope, you can do it. Like, mate, I'm just gonna go and you're gonna be classed as murder.
Nah, man, you'll be fine.
Yeah, no, if I keep doing it, I'll probably be doing the splits in no time.
You'll be like Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Like swatting shit.
Steven Seagal, mate. I went down a little Steven Seagal wormhole last week.
Oh, Steven Seagal.
All because that girl said Steven Seagal to that seagull. It was the most unfunniest fucking thing I'd ever had, and we laughed hysterically at how shit her joke was. It was so bad. It was funny.
It was so 90s, man.
And I went down the Steven Seagal rabbit hole, and there was this one story that Rob Schneider tells on the Howard Stern show that had me in stitches.
Rob Schneider is a carrot.
Oh man. So Rob Schneider had this screenwriting mate who was working on like Under Siege 2. And he was like sat in this like big fucking he just sat in this big fucking like camper van, like this trailer, waiting for Steven Seagal, right? And after about 40 minutes, Steven Seagal just shows up. He's like, I just read the best script that I've ever read. And the guy's like, who wrote it? He's like, I did. And as Rob Schneider's telling that story, fucking Howard Stern's just fucking dying laughing. It was a great little clip.
Fucking Steven Seagal, man.
Oh.
How can you get down a Steven Seagal wormhole, man?
It was quite interesting actually, because there was this one guy who was just
random ass wormhole to go down.
I know, mate. I'll go down many a wormhole. That's why I just blurt out random shit.
Oh man, yeah. Fucking...
Hey, why don't you tell the story about why you left Corby?
Which time?
2014.
Oh.
Now's the time for Confessions Bros, episode 50.
It's quite dark in a funny way now, though, but it's not.
Just tell the fucking story.
I'm trying to come at it at an angle. Alright, well, start from the beginning, shall we? So there was a time where I lived in a street called Wilby Close. And, codes. I'm trying to think of codes. So, my dear brother used to sell candy floss. Quite good candy floss as well, actually. Very sought after. You know, people always wanted the candy floss. They were coming to and fro from the house, willy-nilly, as you'd say. Anyway, so...
The expensive candy floss, too.
Yeah. we go to it's my granddad's 70th birthday. 70th birthday, and this young man owes my brother 10 English pounds for some candy floss. And so
sterling.
10 English sterling. Anyway, so we're on our way to my auntie's house, which crossed paths with this guy's house who owed my brother money for candy floss. And so Dean, on the way there, is like, oh, I'm fucking gonna do his head in and that. I'm gonna kick his fucking head in and that. So we stop outside this young man's door, and Dean proceeds to get violent and aggressive. So I'm sober at this point. I'm calming everything down. I'm like, right, well, you go back in the house. Let's go to Granddad's 70th. Calm down. Get you £10 for the candy floss later. So we go to my granddad's 70th, right? Having a good time actually, like, because my mum was in London at this point, and we were really distant with the family, so it was nice to just chat, just me and my brother, and without my mum. No offense to her. But like, it was nice just to chill with the family, and you know. So we had a few babies, and obviously on the way back, we're crossing paths with this young gentleman again. So this time we're both pretty fucked up, and I'm just like, yeah, fucking, let's go back to this guy's house and fucking. So we go back to the guy's house. We have to cross his house anyway on the way home, and fucking Dean's outside, the brick in his hand, like, fucking, where's my money? Where's my money? Well, this guy comes out, and he's like, right, fucking pricks and that. Your mum this, your mum that. And for some reason, me being drunk just changed. Like, what'd you say about my mother? Just fucking walk straight towards him and just fucking put my foot straight through his door. He had like signal glazing. It's like 2014.
Like granny fucking...
yeah, like plexiglass window.
No, plexiglass. It's like fucking tainted. It's like... what is it? Stained glass.
Stained glass window. Yeah, I just put my foot through it, right?
Oh, man.
So we go home. I get a phone call from this young gentleman's older brother gentleman. And he's like, I can't remember the exact words now, but I was so drunk at this point, and I was just like, yeah, fucking bring it on, you pussy. So, that would have been a Wednesday afternoon, right? That all happened. Gets to Friday, and me and my brother just getting absolutely chonged all fucking night, just one after the other, like, and we're playing FIFA, but on FIFA you can play career mode. Obviously you can play against each other, but we were on the same team, like, proper getting into it, like, fucking, we should buy this player and fucking put him on the wing, suck each other's dicks and that. Yeah, oh, I love this, Shaun. Yeah, I love you so much, bro. Anyway, we're stoned out nuts. Gets to 2 a.m, we're fucking balls deep into FIFA, right? And we just hear the front door open, and literally we looked at each other like, he was like, I thought you locked the door. And I was like, no, I thought you locked the door. Like, mate, I never lock the door. You always lock the fucking door. And we hear these fucking footsteps coming up the stairs and that, and we're like, we weren't really panicking at this point.
Oh, fuck, there's a spot that does.
We hear my bedroom door open, and we're like, no voices yet either, just footsteps and doors opening and shit. So then when my door opened, that's when we were like, oh my fucking god, like, something's not right.
This is happening.
Something's not right.
This is fucking
like,
happening.
it's 2 a.m, like, it's not going to be fucking Ethel from across the street, like, got some cookies for you boys, 2 a.m. It's a fucking 2 a.m, Ethel, the fuck are you doing it? Anyway, no, it wasn't Ethel, that's for sure. So, fucking, Dean gets his baseball bat and holds the door up. He's like, and he had a chair behind his door, so if the door opened, right, whoever was on the couch would be out of view. So I'm on the couch, out of view, no weapon at this point, 'cause I thought it was Ethel.
Wait, I'm fucking crying.
And Dean's standing there with the baseball bat, like, and knock at the door, and then like, Dean's like, who is it? Puts on the like deep voice and that, just sounding menacing. Who is it?
Who goes there?
Who is it? Who the fuck is it? Tyson lives here, man. You don't want to fucking... Anyway, they're like, it's Paul. Like, so casually, it's like, it's Paul. And our cousin's called Paul, right? So me and my brother both were like, oh, it just must be Paul checking up on us. Or being alone.
2 in the morning.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, oh, it just must be Paul checking up on us.
No,
Open the door, like,
weed logic.
Paul! Fucking, it wasn't Paul anyway. It fucking certainly wasn't Paul. It was Machete. Right in Dean's face. Pointing right at him. And
Why
so,
am I
like,
laughing at this? This is terrible.
because, laugh, mate. Laugh at the pain. And so I'm still out of view, right? And the guy's like, yeah, where's the money? Where's the candy floss? And I'm like, Dean kind of gives the game away by looking at me like, fucking do something, Shaun! But
In my head, right, I picture like there's no lights on in the house.
Nah, there was lights on. Like we weren't tramps. We had electric and that.
Just like one little reader lamp.
Just a fucking paperweight on top of a candle.
Fucking lava lamp.
Nah, but right. So this guy has a balaclava on who's got the machete pointing at Dean, and then there's like still some little douchebag lingering out the door somewhere that you can see him. But then you just see him pop in the room and yoink loads of stuff off the bed, money and that. He's like, yoink. And it was that fucking guy whose door we kicked in and I had a little argument with. And he's got some big dude to be menacing with a machete and a balaclava on. He ends up taking it off. He's some junky dude and that. But like
like a fucking Scooby-Doo reveal.
This is the difference between fight or flight, right? It's like 50-50 whether you're fighting or you're flighting. It's not, unless you train your fucking like adrenaline and shit, there's no way you're choosing whether you're fighting or you're flighting. It's once that hits, you're either or you're fucking like ready for war. Do you know what I mean? Once that adrenaline kicks in, like proper life or death situation. I've only had it twice in my life, and it's the stories I'm about to tell right now. And so yeah, I eventually like make myself known. I didn't want to fucking get Dean killed, so we're standing there like what the fuck do you want? Like, all this over fucking £10 of candy floss, like, do you know what I mean? And Dean starts swinging the bat around, and then the guy yanks it off him and tries to slobber Dean, and I put my elbow in the way, and like, oh mate, the proper crack it made off my elbow and that was it. I just fucking like gored like the dude on the stairs out of the way, and I ran out of the house like, fucking help us, help. And I don't know what Dean done, right, but he was chucking motherfuckers down the stairs and everything, man. And then the police eventually came, and
Did you sit at the edge of the ambulance with a blanket over you?
Nah, I'll get to that. But like
Flashing blue lights
this
behind
is
you.
what's even worse. So the police come, right, take some details down. Like, this must have been very traumatizing. And that, yeah.
My condolences.
Yeah. What else happened then? Also, what was it wearing? Also, the knife's still upstairs. Oh, I must have fingerprints then. Oh, nice. Yeah, nice. Meanwhile, Dean comes in my room, puts a bag in my cupboard and that, which I know had weed in it. Like,
Candy floss.
Candy floss. And he's like covering it with all my clothes and that, and then walks back in his room and starts talking to the cop that he's talking to and that. So anyway, I just hear Dean commotion downstairs. He's like filming cops and that. Oh, you piggy wankers and that. And
Fucking piggy
and then he gets arrested and all that, and I'm like confused in my room talking to this cop guy while he's still like, yeah, so you nearly died, fucking hell. Jesus Christ, machete in the baseball bat to the elbow. Gee, that must have been violent.
You screamed like a girl.
Oh, you screamed like a girl running around the house. Oh, you're fucking brave, you are. Oh,
No, I didn't know. Well, that's what I call the neighbours.
Mr. Pussy, pardon? Oh, nothing. Anyway,
You
so I'm sitting in my room like, what's going on here? Like, why is Dean being arrested? Like, we had a motorbike in the kitchen, right, which Dean purchased legally off some ethical person.
Wheeler dealer.
Let's just say that at the most, right? So, and then all of a sudden, I'm getting cuffed up in that.
Fucking
And I'm like, what the fuck? And then he's like, yeah, you're being arrested for stealing a motorbike and that. After like this trauma we just went through, we're getting arrested.
Fuck.
And Dean didn't even know it was stolen. He bought it. Do you know what I mean?
You spend the night in the cell.
Yeah.
I think that was good though, because what's stopping them coming back?
True. The fear of getting arrested.
Mate, could you imagine just you alone in that house? Maybe like Home Alone.
I would have locked the door for one.
No, man, it'd be like Left 4 Dead.
I would have been scared, but once that door was quite thick, so there's like no one's getting through it.
You'd be moving furniture. See all the windows.
So that happens. We come out. Week later. Week goes by. No, a week didn't even go by. couple days go by. I think it's like Sunday, Monday. You came to visit.
No, so what happened was, right, I came to visit the week before it happened.
Nah, because that one had happened. You
that...
came to visit after that first one, like a couple of days after.
Yeah, right. So
my face was all fucked up in that.
Yeah, I remember. So I'm getting blazed in your bedroom. I think Brett was there at one point.
Yeah, he was. You both were.
And I got so high because I was a bit of a noob back then. I got so high, I started getting real anxiety based on everything you just told me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, because back then it wasn't as funny.
No, it was fucking dark back then.
That was like a couple of days later.
It's like we were always on edge, always made sure the door was locked, like always.
And I had my escape plan in my head because
like we used to go sleep and like, do you know how like the old horror movie trick of putting doors up against the handle because we had no locks on the doors, so we'd like
mate, that's nerve inducing.
We're just paranoid, mate. You would be though. Like, you nearly fucking.
How does it feel knowing that you're anonymous now?
I mean, someone could whip a blade out on me down the street tomorrow. You never
know.
Do
you know what I mean though? Like how nice does it feel to like have that
anonymity around Weymouth and Portland and that?
That clean slate.
Yeah, it's nice. It's nice, yeah.
I loved it. I went through, I call it my days of exile, where I'll go to France or whatever and I'll just be anonymous. And it's one of the best feelings in the world. My escape plan when I was in your room getting blazed after you told me that story was the houses in Wilby Close are all flat. And I was like, I'll be out that fucking window and on top of the roof to buy time. And
you think that?
And then I went, right, and then went back to Weymouth 2 days later. It fucking happened again to you. And that's when you left town.
Yeah, but this time was scarier because it was like 4 dudes. And it was unknown people. It wasn't like the first time where like it was revenge for the me smashing the fucking window technically. Like, because apparently I cut his girlfriend's leg, I grazed the leg apparently, some shit like that. That was revenge. This time it was just 4 chances trying to just get money and candy floss. And so obviously we were sleeping with like weapons next to our beds and that, just because of the fucking paranoia from the first time. And Dean comes in my room and he's like, "Oh, Shaun, I'm just gonna nip out and get some candy floss. Can I borrow your shank?" I was like, "Yeah, go ahead. I'm not gonna need it. I'm not gonna need it, am I? I'm gonna be safe here. You're gonna lock the door, obviously not." So yeah, he's like, "See you later." Opens door's closed. Say about 3 seconds. Door opens. Door closes.
Mate, they were fucking scouting you.
And I must have been, mate, because this was like 7:30 in the morning. And
fuck, bro, that's fucked up.
Yeah, I just hear like, so what, 2, 4, 6, 8 sets of fucking footsteps coming up the stairs.
Doesn't
But
end.
Still me, right? I'm like, Dean's just woke me up, so I put on Mass Effect 3, smoking my wake and bake and that, and I'm like, alright, Mass Effect in space, oh fuck yeah. My door opens and that, corner of my eye, I'm like, see a dude in a balaclava, and I'm like, good one, Dean. It's like waving a knife, but he's like, where's the money? And I'm like, good one, Dean. And that. Next thing I know, bam, he pounces on me like a fucking chimpanzee, starts punching me in the face, and that. He's got like my arms pinned, fucking punching me. And out of the corner of my eye, I see like 3 other dudes walking in my room with knives and that, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And he's continuously like, just my head's like going off the bed like boing, 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 boing. And honestly, mate, I was like rocked the fuck. I was like, what's going on here, man? Literally just in a space of like fucking 3 seconds. Like, first minute I'm flying a spaceship through fucking space. Next minute I'm like, I don't know. So fucking yeah, he's fucking. And then
Sorry.
it's funny. And Danielle was in the toilet doing a piss, her morning piss, and she's pregnant at the time, right? And they just grab her in the room and that, and they're like, "Tell us where the fucking shit is," and that. I got a knife to her and that. So this is when like fight mode kicked in. I didn't flight this time. I was like, so I gets up in that, and I grab, because this guy's got the knife, and I'm grabbing it with all my might, like his hand, like all the fucking strength I had, and I was angled him up in that, and I was like, alright, I'll show you where the shit is and that. And I made sure I ripped his fucking jacket as well. Kind of like, I don't know where this adrenaline came from, but I like pushed them out, held the door like fucking shut. told her, she was like, I've got no knickers on. And I was like, just fucking scream out the window for help, or I'll let them back in and we can die. How about that?
The fucking neighbours, man. Like, oh, not again.
That's what I'm saying. And mate, but that's what annoyed me, right? Because they all ran off down the alley, and this lady came out. She's pretty nice actually, but she was like, yeah, we all know what you're doing now. And I was like, what? That justifies us nearly dying. Do you know what I mean? That justifies that, does it? Like, I was like, we don't fucking fuck with any use in the street. We're always nice. We're always like, hi, yeah, man, you know what I mean? We're always civil.
Mate,
So, like, these things happen, and that's justified to you, is it? Because fucking...
Mate, that street was proper curtain twitches as well.
Oh, it was, man.
Because I grew up on Wilby Close. I spent the first 16 years of my life.
And then we moved to London.
Yeah.
End story. Fucking, yeah. Cool. Subscribe. Please.
Like.
Fucking... Or don't. Who gives a fuck?
Yeah. Peace.
Deuces.